Everyone in the academy laughed at her, calling her weak and useless. Elara walked into the training hall with her head slightly down, her hands shaking. She was the smallest trainee in the room, her uniform barely fitting, and her boots scuffed from old shoes. The other students whispered, pointing at her, and giggled at every step she took. Even the instructors shook their heads and muttered, "She won't last a week here." Elara had always known she was different. She had seen things others could not see and felt powers within her that she did not understand. But no one else believed in her, and every attempt she made to show them only ended in failure. Today was no different. The instructor, a tall woman with steel eyes, blew her whistle sharply. "All trainees, line up. Today, you will prove your worth in the strength trial," she shouted. Elara moved to the back of the line, trying not to be noticed. She felt the eyes of everyone burning into her back, full of doubt and mockery. The trial began. Heavy gravity suits were placed on each trainee, designed to test endurance and strength. The suits weighed almost double her body weight, and every step she took made her legs scream in pain. The other trainees ran past her easily, their bodies strong and trained. Elara struggled, almost tripping over her own feet. One of the strongest trainees laughed loudly. "Are you even human? Move faster, weakling." Elara's face burned with shame, but something inside her stirred. She clenched her fists and tried again, step by step, slow but steady. The instructors watched, some shaking their heads, some frowning in impatience. She felt every muscle in her body burning, but she refused to give up. Even if the world mocked her, she would not stop trying. Hours passed, and most trainees had completed the trial. Some were strong, some were fast, but all were exhausted and proud. Elara was still struggling, her legs shaking, her breath short. A small group of students circled around her, whispering, "She's a joke, she'll collapse any second." Suddenly, her suit began to hum softly. Elara froze, confused. This had never happened before. A tiny blue glow appeared beneath the metal plating, pulsing with her heartbeat. No one noticed at first, too busy mocking her. But the instructor's eyes widened, and she stepped closer, frowning. "Wait, what is this?" the instructor whispered, almost to herself. Elara felt a warmth spreading from her chest down to her hands. Her muscles felt lighter, her body stronger. She didn't understand how, but she knew she could move, faster, stronger than before. She tried again, pushing herself, and this time, something incredible happened. Her steps were steady, precise, almost graceful. Other trainees stopped and stared, their laughter dying in their throats. The small blue glow followed her movements, wrapping around her like a shield. Even the instructors were speechless, their eyes wide with shock. Elara reached the end of the training field, exhausted but alive. Her heart pounded, but a new feeling filled her, a strange mix of fear and power. The whispers turned to silence, and even the strongest trainees avoided her gaze. She had done something no one thought possible, but she did not understand how or why. As she left the hall, she glanced at the old maintenance door in the corner. Something about it called to her, as if it knew her secret. She felt that whatever lay behind it could explain the strange power inside her. For the first time, she felt hope, but also fear, because the world that mocked her was about to see her differently. And deep down, she knew this was only the beginning. After the trial, Elara could not stop thinking about the strange glow in her suit. It pulsed with her heartbeat and felt alive, as if it had a mind of its own. She walked through the quiet corridors of the academy, avoiding curious eyes. Her mind raced with questions. What is this power? Why me? Her steps led her to the old maintenance door she had seen in the training hall. It was rusty, small, and almost hidden behind stacks of old equipment. No one had ever entered it in years, and students said it was empty. But something inside Elara urged her to open it. She pressed her hand on the cold metal handle, and it creaked loudly. The door gave way, revealing a narrow, dark hallway that smelled of oil and dust. Elara's heart pounded with fear and excitement. She lit a small flashlight and stepped inside. The hallway led to a hidden lab, filled with old machines and broken tools. In the center, a large device hummed softly, covered with glowing blue wires. It was strange, almost like the glow had waited for her. As she approached, The machine reacted to her presence. The blue light flickered and pulsed faster, as if greeting her. She reached out and touched a small control panel. Suddenly, data appeared on the screens, images of humans with strange powers. Elara gasped, her eyes wide with shock. This lab was old, from a forgotten experiment. It held secrets no one at the academy knew. Elara studied the controls carefully, trying not to break anything. She pressed a button, and the machine whirred to life. A holographic figure appeared, showing a human with energy flowing through their body. The figure moved with speed and strength beyond normal humans. Elara realized this was what her power was connected to. She was part of something bigger, something experimental. Suddenly, a soft alarm sounded. She froze, wondering if someone had discovered her. But the lab was empty, silent except for the humming machines. Elara's pulse quickened. She felt a surge of courage and reached for the main device. Her fingers brushed the glowing panel, and a wave of energy flowed into her. It felt like the power in her suit was awakening, stronger than ever. Her body trembled, her heart raced. She lifted her hands, and tiny sparks of blue energy danced around her fingers. The machine displayed words she could barely understand. Prototype activated. Elara realized that this power had been inside her all along, waiting to be unlocked. She was not weak. She had been underestimated, but now she held something no one could ignore. A sound behind her made her jump. It was a low mechanical click, as if the lab itself was alive. Elara spun around, but no one was there. She whispered to herself, "I need to learn how to control this." Her eyes returned to the glowing panel, determination filling her. She knew that this discovery could change everything. Her future, the academy, maybe even the world. But she also knew she had to be careful. If anyone discovered this secret, they might try to take it from her. Elara smiled faintly, feeling the pulse of energy in her veins. For the first time, she felt powerful. And deep down, she understood, this was only the beginning of something extraordinary. A new journey had started. One that would test her strength, her courage, and the limits of human potential. And whatever challenges lay ahead, she was ready to face them. Because now, the girl everyone laughed at had a secret that could stun the world. Elara stepped out of the hidden lab with her heart still pounding. The glow from her hands had faded, but she could still feel the energy inside her. She had a new strength, a new power, but she did not fully understand it yet. The academy seemed the same, but for Elara, everything had changed. The instructors called the students for a combat simulation. It was the first real test after the strength trial. Elara knew that the others would be watching her closely. They had laughed at her before, but now, she had a chance to prove herself. The simulation field was huge, with obstacles, high walls, and moving platforms. Students were paired against each other to test strategy, speed, and endurance. Her opponent was one of the strongest trainees, a tall boy named Kale. He had mocked her during the strength trial, calling her a tiny failure. Elara clenched her fists, ignoring the whispers around her. This time, I will show them, she thought. The simulation began, and Kale rushed at her with impressive speed. Elara dodged clumsily at first, almost falling. But then, she felt the energy inside her stirring. Her movements became sharper, faster, almost instinctive. She leaped over a high wall that she had never been able to climb before. Kale's eyes widened, and he stumbled, not expecting her to move so quickly. The other trainees gasped, whispering among themselves. Is she really the same girl? Elara did not answer. She focused on the challenge, letting her instincts guide her. The energy pulsed through her body, making her senses sharper. She dodged Kale's attacks, countered with precise moves. Her small frame moved like a shadow, almost untouchable. But the power was new and unstable. A surge of energy shot through her arms, knocking Kale back unexpectedly. The instructors shouted warnings. Control it! Control it! Elara realized she could hurt someone if she lost focus. She took a deep breath and concentrated, forcing the energy to flow smoothly. Slowly, she gained control, feeling the power as an extension of her own body. Kale recovered and charged again, but this time, Elara was ready. She used a clever trick, bouncing off a wall and landing behind him. The crowd of trainees watched in stunned silence. No one had ever seen a display like this. Even the instructors exchanged glances, disbelief on their faces. Elara pushed forward, finishing the simulation with skill and precision. Kale collapsed, exhausted and shocked. The other trainees avoided her gaze, whispering about her hidden power. Elara stood in the middle of the field, breathing heavily, her heart racing. For the first time, she felt not just strong, but respected. As the crowd dispersed, a senior instructor approached her quietly. "You have potential, more than we expected," he said softly. Elara nodded, feeling a mix of pride and fear. She did not fully understand her power yet, but she knew that if she trained, she could become something extraordinary. Walking back to the dorms, Elara thought about the lab and the machine. The hidden prototype had given her strength, but it had also given her a responsibility. She was no longer just a trainee, they had underestimated her, and the world outside the academy would soon see what she could do. But first, she had to learn, control, and survive. Because the real challenges were only beginning, and the girl everyone mocked was slowly becoming a force no one would forget. The day of the academy's final test had arrived. It was the challenge that decided the top trainees, the strongest, and the future leaders. Elara stood at the edge of the massive training arena. Her heart raced, but she was ready, her hidden power pulsing beneath her skin. The arena was unlike anything she had seen before. Tall walls, spinning platforms, energy barriers, and moving obstacles stretched as far as the eye could see. The instructors announced, "Only the strongest will survive and win." The other trainees looked fierce and confident, but Elara knew something they did not. She had the prototype power, and it was growing stronger every day. Her first opponent appeared, Kale, the same boy who had mocked her before. He smiled confidently, thinking victory was easy. Elara clenched her fists, feeling the energy within her flare. She did not fear him, she respected him as a challenge, not an obstacle. The test began, and the arena came alive with danger. Platforms moved, walls shifted, and energy blasts fired from unseen turrets. Kale charged at her with speed, throwing punches and trying to corner her. Elara dodged nimbly, her body moving with precision, almost like the energy itself guided her. A glowing blue trail followed her movements, leaving Kale stunned. The instructors shouted warnings and instructions, but Elara ignored them. She needed to trust herself, her instincts, and her new strength. Kale tried a surprise attack, but she leaped over his strike, landing behind him. Using his momentum, she pushed him away from a collapsing platform, saving both of them from falling. The crowd of trainees and instructors watched, shocked. No one expected her to move so fast and react so smartly. But controlling the energy was still difficult. A surge of power shot through her arms, knocking her off balance. For a moment, she feared she would fail. Her legs trembled, her vision blurred, but she refused to give up. She focused, breathing deeply, and felt the energy respond to her will. It flowed through her smoothly, becoming part of her body, not separate. Kale recovered and attacked again, but Elara was ready. She dodged, ducked, and used the environment to her advantage, swinging off walls, sliding under barriers, and even using her energy to create small bursts of force. Every move surprised Kale and the instructors. It was clear, this was not just skill or training, it was power unlike anything seen before. The final challenge appeared, a massive mechanical drone that tested every trainee. It fired energy blasts and tried to trap her in force fields. Elara felt the power surge within her, stronger than ever. She focused, using her energy to shield herself, deflect the attacks, and strike the drone. With a final burst, she disabled it, the energy crackling around her hands. The arena fell silent, everyone staring in awe. Kale nodded at her, a mix of respect and disbelief in his eyes. Even the instructors were speechless, murmuring to each other. Elara stood tall, breathing hard, exhausted but victorious. For the first time, she realized she was no longer the girl everyone mocked. She had become something far more, powerful, clever, and unstoppable. As she walked out of the arena, whispers followed her. She is different, stronger than anyone we have seen. Elara smiled faintly, feeling the warmth of victory. But deep down, she knew this was only the beginning. The real battles, the real tests, and the true purpose of her power were still ahead. And the girl who was once mocked by all had finally shown them that underestimating her had been their first mistake. Elara stood on the edge of the academy's highest platform. Below her, the training grounds stretched wide, filled with instructors, students, and observers. Today was different. This was not a test of skill alone, but a test of control, courage, and the full extent of her power. The energy within her pulsed stronger than ever, ready to be unleashed. The instructors stepped forward, their eyes wide with caution. "You have done well, Elara, but this is your final trial," one said. Her opponents from the earlier challenges watched silently. Even Kale, who had once mocked her, stood with a mixture of awe and fear. Elara felt no fear. She felt clarity. She had trained, she had discovered, and now she was ready. The final challenge appeared, a massive arena simulation, filled with dangers unlike any before. Energy barriers, mechanical drones, shifting platforms, and simulated attacks from multiple directions. It was designed to push the strongest to their limits, and maybe beyond. Elara took a deep breath and stepped forward, her hands glowing faintly with blue energy. The first attack came fast, a barrage of energy blasts from drones all around her. She dodged, jumped, and moved with an almost supernatural speed. Her movements left trails of light behind, confusing her attackers. The drones fired again, but she raised her hands, channeling her energy. A blue shield formed around her, repelling every blast effortlessly. The crowd gasped, murmuring in disbelief. Kale attacked from above, aiming to catch her off guard. But Elara anticipated his move, twisting mid-air. Her energy flared, propelling her higher, faster than any human should be able to move. She landed behind him, disarming him with a gentle push. Kale stumbled, wide-eyed, silently acknowledging her strength for the first time. The arena's moving platforms shifted, walls collapsed, and energy barriers closed in. But Elara was calm, every step measured, every movement precise. Her energy seemed alive, flowing through her, protecting her, enhancing her. She realized fully now, she was no longer weak, no longer the girl everyone laughed at. She had become something beyond ordinary. A massive mechanical drone rose from the center of the arena, larger and stronger than any before. It fired multiple energy blasts at once, trying to overwhelm her. Elara closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the energy within her. Then she raised her hands and released it all. A wave of pure power exploded outward, pushing back the drone. It trembled, sparks flying, and finally collapsed, powerless before her. The arena fell silent. Even the instructors could not speak, their mouths open in astonishment. Students whispered in awe, some even cheering. Kale approached her, nodding respectfully. You've changed everything," he said softly. Elara's chest heaved with exhaustion, but a smile formed on her face. For the first time, she felt complete, strong, respected, and powerful. The girl who had been mocked by everyone had revealed a force that stunned the world. Her energy faded slightly, but the glow in her eyes remained. She knew this was only the beginning of her journey. As she looked around, she realized the truth. Her strength was not just physical. It was courage, determination, and the will to rise when everyone doubted her. She had proven something important. Humanity, even in its weakest moments, could unleash power beyond imagination. And the academy, the instructors, and her peers would never forget her. Elara took a deep breath, standing tall on the platform. The energy that had once seemed uncontrollable now flowed smoothly. She was ready for whatever the future held. Because the girl who was once mocked had become unstoppable. And the world would soon witness the true potential of a human who refused to be weak. The pulse of her energy echoed through the academy, a silent warning and promise. The girl who had been laughed at had become a force no one could ignore. And deep inside, Elara knew, this was only the beginning of a story the universe would remember.